Greetings. Today I want to speak to you concerning alchemy, which is the secret to attract unlimited money or unlimited wealth. When you understand the science or the inner working of alchemy, you would realize how you can transmute your desires into your reality. And the secret is throughout the entire Bible when you understand it from a metaphysical standpoint, from an esoteric standpoint, from a psychological standpoint. And when you understand that it is a book of mind science, you will definitely understand that thoughts become things and that we become what we think about most of the time. Now, I want to share a little story with you concerning the power of alchemy. I remember quite vividly seeing a young man in my country having on his social media wall the word alchemy. And I met him at the Massy grocery store. Okay. And I said to him, because I know him very good, I know his father for a very long time. I know him when he was a little boy and so on. And as a little boy growing up, he used to always admire people like me because he used to be around where we used to be walking out and building our bodies and so on, okay? And even, as a big man, there was a things he would tell me that he used to always admire about us and so on, okay? His father used to be one who used to lift weights too, okay? And so I said to him, what do you know about alchemy? You know anything about alchemy? Okay, and he explained to me what is alchemy, but basically he was explaining to me who's an alchemist. So I said to him, nah, your definition is basically the definition of an alchemist. But the question I'm asking you is, what do you know about alchemy? So I said to him, I said, one of these days I'll explain more to you concerning alchemy. Okay? And so to cut a long story short, I happened to meet him in the gym while I went to work out. And that was a couple years back, okay? And so when we meet in the gym, we have these little talks and so on, and I explain certain things to him and so on. And most of the time he was, telling me what he was facing in terms of he would have left his job and, his parents, everyone thought he was basically losing his mind because they would have borrow over $100,000 and they would have sent him to flight school in America and so on. And he did some studies there, learning to fly and so on. But when he came back, the particular job that he wanted was not really available to him and so on. Okay, and so he didn't really want to continue working with that particular governmental ministry, okay? Because that flying vacancy was only like basically for one person, okay? So the person who was there had to like basically like die, retire and so on. But the person was very close to retirement and so on, right? Okay, I don't want to give out too much, but anyway. So his parents was thinking that probably he would have lost his mind and so on, and that he was going to leave them in a lot of debt and so on. So I started to teach him certain things. And based on the things that he was telling me, I know he was listening to people on YouTube teaching the law of attraction and so on. So I asked him who he was listening to. So he was listening to people like Jake Ducey and Aaron DeHarty and many of these other guys that he told me he was listening to. So I said to him that, these Caucasian people, when they speak, they actually speak in a code. So you, being a melanated person anyway, how you grew up and so on, you might listen to them, you'll understand what they're saying in terms they're speaking English and so on, but there's certain things still hidden to you because remember, we were raised to believe in secular Christianity that's pointing us to look outwardly with school a certain way. We grew up in a colonial system and so on. I started to teach him certain things from the Bible and so on and start to put them together and make sense for him. And so his father and his father's wife, they was even telling him I'm leading him astray and so on, and he need to go back to his job and so on. But to cut a long story short, right now, that young man is one of the #1 businessman in the island. In so much that his parents want to be a part of his business because his business is doing so good, real good. I'm talking about a business whereby and a good month he can pull in even up to $100,000 in a very good month. And to do that in these parts, I'm telling you, that is like a quantum leap. That is still be in like the 1%. So when it comes to the science of alchemy, I have many experiences I can share with you, but I just wanted to share that one with you. So my brother and my sisters, those of you who are listening to me and who've been following me closely, everything that I've been teaching you about the sexual energy, it goes back also to alchemy. Okay? And alchemy is tied to your psyche. So if they take the Bible and they teach you the Bible as literal and secular history, and they are pointing you to look outward, the most likely you'll never be able to operate the science of alchemy. You will go on your knees and pray and beg and beseech and seek an entity outside of yourself. And because it's a science and everything is based by law and order and everything going by energy, vibration, and frequency, you being so emotional and using your feeling and your emotion and your devotion, and you believe in so much, and remember there's magic in believing, and you're actually a magician. Okay, you would bring forth unconsciously still. But when you bring forth unconsciously, you're still in ignorance, you're still not free. So that is why people will go to church and they will get certain results, but those results are limiting results. But if you want to get unlimited results, you want to live in the best version of yourself, you want to tap into all of your potential because you have a lot of untapped potential lying dormant within you, and you want to go into all of that. You have to come to this kind of knowledge concerning alchemy and how to create your reality consciously by understanding mind science and understanding that the sun, as in the sun in the sky, it parallels the human imagination, and the human imagination parallels the sun. For without the sun there's no life and there's no light, and without the human imagination there's anything made that was made. And there's a spark within you, and whenever that spark ignites within you, you'll definitely have an awakened experience. That is why when you practice things like visualization, mindful breathing, mindful inner conversation, which is self-talk, and all of these things, it will help you to grow and expand, because it will be changing your DNA in a way whereby you're going to bring you into a place of starting to remember who you are. Because they try to erase your remembrance. But these things that I'm saying to you is to help you to come back to that place of remembrance. Okay? And so when you come to that place of remembrance, you will become more of a conscious and a deliberate creator, because you understand fully the inner science of alchemy, and you understand that you can create your reality and you can create it consciously. And so you can transmute your energy into the equivalent of money, because you're walking around with a currency. For money is a living, flowing currency that runs throughout your entire body. You discover your magnetic and your electrical self when you start to operate the science of alchemy. That is why I always encourage you to go to bed consciously and awake consciously. Be self-disciplined and practice self-mastery. Okay, so my brother and my sister, everything I am teaching you is to help you to learn to believe in yourself and to love yourself and embrace yourself, because what secular Christianity and religion would have done to melanated people is to put them into a place of self-hate, a place of doubt, guilt, shame, judgment, and condemnation. Moreover, it would have kept them in mental slavery. And the worst slavery is mental slavery. Okay, because when you're in mental slavery, you'll also be in spiritual slavery. Your spirit would be enslaved, and you would be going around in circles, keep coming back here all the time, repeating the same ignorance over and over and over, and looking for someone to come from the sky to save you. And the even more worst thing about that is that the one you're looking for to come to save you doesn't even look like you. So my brother, my sisters, I'm saying to you, start to practice mindful breathing, diaphragmic breathing, morning, noon, and night. Practice also my arousal, sexual breathing, the horny breathing, and that will help to activate your solar plexus and put your heart on a certain frequency to transmute the energy even more quickly, whereby your brain being the transmitter and the receiver such frequency, and you're gonna manifest things more quickly. So those who using the heart and brain coherence that has been taught by Joe Dispenza and so on, it is good. But I'm teaching you the best, okay, because the secret of the sun and the sexual power, the sexual energy, is the most ancient teachings that our ancestors would have known because of the closest to nature. And so the Iceman, his breathing, Wim Hof breathing, along with the Sun Man, myself, the horn, his sexual breathing, when you put the two together, I am telling you, it is real power. Okay? And you will live your life as a true alchemist. Okay? So you use the Iceman breathing just to calm you down. But when you want to go more faster, more higher, you want to go to higher dimension, then you use my breathing along with that. And just to show you what I'm saying, how it really works, there was a time when people used to travel just on their feet, and then they started to use horse power, and then they had a horse and carriage, and then from horse and carriage, then they went into the automobile age, and then from the automobile age, then they started to invent the aeroplane, and then from the aeroplane, you have the jets, and now you have the astronaut, and all of them was higher power all the time, but the same horsepower, but getting greater and greater and greater and greater and greater. Okay, so that is why, you know, you have to use, you know, the horny feeling, okay, to help you to be a real alchemist. And because of your closeness to the sun and nature, as a melanated person, things will happen to you faster. It is no coincidence why we have the fastest men and women alive, okay, when it comes to the Olympics and so on. It is not a coincidence why we have such good genetics when it comes to building muscles and so on, okay? All these things are here to teach you that we are the greatest alchemists that there can be on this planet. And doesn't matter how much they try to distract you or set you back, everything is already in your DNA. And once you activate that DNA, you would realize how powerful you are, okay? And you'll be able to use your inner power to achieve your every desire and prove that you are an alchemist, okay? So learn the science of alchemy, whereby you can create your reality consciously. That is what they mean when they say, as a man thinketh, so is he. And when it speak about as a man thinketh in his heart, it is not speaking about the organ that pumps blood around the body. It is speaking about the seat of consciousness. As you think in the invisible, so shall it be expressed in the visible three-dimensional world. Because you are a divine, invisible being. That is your true essence. Okay, so it's very important for you to know who you are if you want to operate in the inner science of alchemy to create your reality consciously and attract unlimited money and wealth into your reality. So, with that being said, my brother, my sisters, I want to encourage you to like, to comment, to subscribe, to share this video. Also, if you like to follow me on Instagram, you like to follow me on TikTok, you can definitely follow me at BlackMadGuru. If you like to get my books, the links are down below. You have 10 more books to choose from. Also, you have my gratitude journals. You can choose any one of my gratitude journals. I have gratitude journals for him, gratitude journal for her. And they all start with the affirmation, I am so happy and grateful now. And you just state whatever you are happy and grateful for. Just order and wait. Understand the law of gestation. Okay. Whatever you desire in this world, if you write it down, though it may tarry, you must wait for it because you're working with certain law and certain order. Also, if you like to book a one-on-one with me, okay, you can drop me an email and we can set up a one-on-one, whether is it on Zoom or on a WhatsApp call. If not, you can check me out on an app. There's an app down below that's called Faithia. You can check me out on that app. But I have to warn you that it is a religious app, but I took the opportunity there to teach my spirituality, okay? And I wouldn't compromise. So if you want to book me there, you can book me there also. Also, if you like to become a part of my Patreon community, I have a course here that's called the Inner Sun Science and Technology to Create Your Reality Consciousness. And along with that is a bonus course on self-concept. And that is where I'm teaching you that the sun parallels the human imagination, and the human imagination parallels the sun. For without the sun, there's no life and there's no light. And without the human imagination, there isn't anything made that was made. So if you want to donate $20 or more, you can get access to that course, okay? So my last encouragement to you is to make sure that you check out all of the links that are down below and definitely let your intuition lead you and guide you into what to do. So with that being said, I just want to say peace, love you all, out.